What's up, guys? Welcome back to another User Productions video. I'm your host Lucas to bring you another review / discussion, and yes, another episode of The Last of Us has debuted, and that means we are here to talk about The Last of Us Episode 5. But before I jump into that short little video for you, I need you to do a couple things. One, I need you to be aware that I will be talking about stuff that does occur in the episode, so this is your spoiler warning. And then number two, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Things like that help the channel and the video grow, and I appreciate it. And then I need you to do one last thing. If you are new around here, or you're somebody who's watched a couple of these videos and you are not subscribed, go ahead and get that subscription button lit up for me, please. It'll help the channel grow, and I appreciate that, guys. With that being said, let's talk about The Last of Us Episode 5. Alright, so jumping right in. This was another great episode of The Last of Us. In my previous review, I talked about I didn't think that episode 4 was quite there. It seemed like the weaker of the episodes that we'd seen so far in the season, and it definitely did feel like a setup episode, and episode 5 really shows us that it was a true setup episode. We kind of get a rounding out of the story of Henry and Sam. We understand a little bit more about the doctor that Kathleen has hostage that she ends up killing. We understand that this overthrown of Fedra and everything that we've seen, those burning bodies that Joel and Ellie pass in the truck in the alleyway, all this is very new and recent. Kathleen hasn't been in charge very long. Her anger and her passion for Henry and Sam is explained because they led to the direct death and torture of her brother, which was her superhero, the person that she was attached to, much like Joel's original daughter, things like that. So we're seeing a constant throwback to things. There's always there's always something that somebody has lost. And like I said, the actual time span from Kathleen overthrowing Fedra to her demise at the end of episode 5 was, I believe, 10, maybe 12 days at most. They talk about 10 days but then again, Henry and Sam spent a lot of time in the attic. I'm not sure if they really kept up with the exact time frame. But those bodies that we did see in episode 4, when Joel and Ellie, before they get ambushed, those were those bodies of those collaborators that Kathleen is talking to at the beginning of this episode, which is kind of creepy. It's almost like she's very teacher-esque, talking to a class of almost kindergartners sitting cross-legged in front of her. We see how that she has the power over all these troops, and that was another question that I had. What exactly led to her being so in charge? She didn't seem all that forceful, but it turns out that her brother basically set the table, and then Kathleen is the one who basically executed all of his plans because he wasn't able to. So we see where the loyalty comes from. We finally get a result of that big ground surge that we see in the last episode as well. We understand why Henry and Sam are the way they are, how they've been hiding, what ends up happening to that doctor. He was the doctor that Henry had collaborated with in order to save Sam's life from leukemia. And so the doctor does end up getting captured because of that one other prisoner who is aware of their safety house. He doesn't know the exact location, but at least the doctor being captured and then eventually killed. So Henry is right about that in the episode. But overall, this episode had a great sense of ambiance. The set dressings were, of course, fantastic. The acting in this is just incredible. The entire cast and crew learned sign language to be able to communicate with Sam, who is a deaf actor. This was something that Craig Mazin had talked about on the Script Notes podcast when the show was not quite announced yet. I think he was just still feeding little Easter eggs about what projects he was working on in Canada, whatever he'd appear on the show. And he mentioned something about looking for actual inclusivity and including working with deaf actors in the process of what it was and all the things that went into it. And so it's really nice to kind of see that come to fruition and see what it all led up to. Both of the actors that play Henry and Sam are top-notch. We already talked about Kathleen in the last episode, how great she is. But the actors that play Henry and Sam are so believable in their relationship and their willingness to help and survive. And everybody's got justifications in this world, which is really nice. It's not like The Walking Dead where it seemed like, some characters were evil for evil's sake. These people who are evil aren't technically evil. It's just that classic story that, a villain is just a hero of their own story. You're just hearing the other side of it. And so I find that storytelling aspect that Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann have done in this series so far to be absolutely incredible. It's compelling. It's engaging. The action in this episode is probably one of the best action scenes that has happened in a TV show in the last couple years. When we finally had the climax at the end of the episode, it's fantastic. We get introduced to a new type of infected, which is nice. The bloater. We get in the little girl who's the contortionist clicker was just nightmare fuel. There's a whole lot of things that happen that are just symbolisms of things that didn't, things that we didn't see that lead to other aspects of these characters that really gives us depth and understanding. When Joel and Henry are watching Sam and Ellie play when they're in the underground playground and stuff, it's the daycare. It makes us wonder, like, there's no bodies. Everything still seems somewhat put together and neat. And Joel, explains that, one person didn't follow the rules and things like this tended to happen. And it's just kind of haunting. It's, basically two father figures watching the people that they are father figures over enjoy the last little remnants of childhood that's about to be ripped from them. And then for Sam's case, literally his childhood is going to be ending, the next day. So there's a whole lot of just great foreshadowing in this entire series. They finally have, for The Last of Us, their own little catchphrase, very much how Station 11 or a lot of these other zombie or survival shows do. Overall, guys, The Last of Us has produced probably 3 of the best episodes of TV that have come out in the last year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe even as far as 5 years. And this is only episode 5 of a 9-episode season. I can't wait to see what they have coming. I kind of have an idea of where we're heading, having played the games, but I'm not going to drop that, news on you because I think they have changed enough of the game to keep us engaged. Now, of course, there's obviously, the NPC aspects in this episode as well. The sniper old man who apparently has stormtrooper aim, which is, just great, like just fantastic. Give the guy who can hit the broadside of a barn the sniper rifle and have him be the one who's, on watch. Other than things like that did feel very video game-ish. They did a great job of transitioning from that video game into this other medium aspect and being able to take a lot of that feeling that you had in the game and really heighten it up a little bit. The stakes seem higher. You definitely feel like there's a sense of urgency. The acting, like I mentioned, is just incredible on all actors. There's not been a bad actor in this show, and I've been trying to pay attention to some of those background actors as well, and I'm not noticing anything that's like terribly distracting or daunting to watch. But from beginning to end, this has just been a show of a clinic on how to do things, how to set dress, how to act, how to perform, how to be a director, how to be a writer, how to be a storyteller. This show is just doing and covering all of its bases very, very well. I'm very excited to see this show. I definitely like it better on Sunday nights instead of the Friday nights, so I'm glad we're going to go back to the Sunday night debut. It gives me something nice to watch on Sunday nights because Sunday nights right now are actually pretty good. If you enjoy some of the popular shows, 1923 comes out, Mayor of Kingstown comes out, and then The Last of Us comes out. Sunday night is just a great night for TV, and I like it to be that way. I understand why they moved it because of the Super Bowl, but I'm glad it's going to go back to its normal debut time. But there we have it, guys. A quick little discussion, my thoughts, a little bit of a review of The Last of Us Episode 5. Tell me what you thought down there in the comment section. And like I said, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription. You're going to enjoy all the content that we have coming. So if you enjoy content like this, if you enjoy movie and TV show recommendations, that is all that we do here. And I would love to see you in the next video. So tell me what you thought about Episode 5 down there in the comments. Give this a thumbs up if you haven't done so. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Lucas, here at Houston Productions. Happy watching.